Excellent. Next, I'd like to welcome up PJ from Checkbook.io. So this is one of the first fintech companies I ever worked with. I think I may have helped you raise a little bit of capital or helped you in some small way. So it's many years later. Great to see you. Love to see your update here.
Very good. You did help, Brent. You were a big help, as always. So this is the pointer. All right. All right, guys. Hopefully, I will be able to keep it interesting. I know it's towards the end of the day, and I think I need to stay close to here. We are solving a very old but very important problem. Push payments with paper checks. Payments are two-sided. If you receive payments, you got to send payments. You got to pay. If you're receiving, that problem's been solved by a bunch of companies, Square, Stripe are the big ones, but nobody's been able to solve the push payment side. Paper checks are still abound. 15 billion, according to the Federal Reserve. Who's writing all these paper checks? People think that they've done with it. They go and pay their bills online, but the banks are actually sending out paper checks on behalf of those users. About 50% goes through ACH, another 50% through paper checks. What we have built is the convenience of sending a payment with a paper check, which means I can send a payment to anybody with their name, email address, and amount. In a paper check, I use a physical address. With Checkbook, we use digital checks, which require just an email address or a cell phone number. And that's it. And that is fundamentally different than ACH or wire transfers or any online service, because in order to do an ACH, either to a business or to an individual, I first need to enroll them. I need to get their bank information. I need to verify it, and then go through it. It's a huge pain point. If a company is sending out, let's say, 100,000 insurance claims disbursements. So we have built a one-sided system where the digital check is delivered instantly via email, and it can be cashed in 3 different ways. They can either print it, the recipient can either print it, they can deposit it online, a direct deposit ACH, or the latest one is they can enter their debit card and the funds are in their bank account instantly. Think about that. Instant delivery, instant payment. Quicker than a wire transfer. Our revenue, the numbers, I took them off the y-axis, but I'll tell you it's an order of magnitude increasing every year. We launched in 2016. We were in single-digit millions of dollars in 2018. And the problem that we are attacking has a huge market and no competition, because wire transfers, traditional ACH, credit cards, none of them work in the sense that they all require enrollment or are prohibitively expensive. My background, I was at Visa. I know payments, ACH, cards, you name it. This is where I like to show the demo, but we have a canned presentation. But hopefully this will give you an idea. If you go to our website, you can actually fill that check out and send it out in real time within about a minute. Verify your bank account instantly, and off you go. And the key thing is, for the recipient, there is no login, there is no password, there is no app to download. In other words, it is universal. Unlike PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Square Cash, the fundamental problem with all of these payment systems is twofold. I first need to make sure that the recipient is enrolled in them. Then they cost 1, 2, or 3%. They're a non-starter for businesses. Business transactions are large in size. The percentage-based fee model doesn't work for them. We charge a fixed fee per transaction, $1 per check. Here you see 3 different options. This is the email that you get. Several ways to deposit: push to card, direct deposit to your bank account. and mobile deposit using your cell phone. All right. Got about some of our customers, some traction, and I've got 10 seconds left. I will tell you about our EBITDA, pretty high, 80%, and this is our team. This is what we have raised. Tim Draper is an investor, and we are cash flow positive, but we are raising $10 million in Series A and looking to grow further and faster.
Thank you, PJ. Questions?
Yeah, let me start. PJ, I guess, has a ringer up here because we're actually partner DXC with Checkbook.io. You might have seen in...
Now you know the secret to me growing revenue.
And I didn't know that he was actually going to be
everywhere.
presenting today. But we are actually working jointly with a firm that generates a lot of checks. It's a large enterprise bank. And it has a whole back office processing with check imaging and lock boxes and so forth. And that's a very costly endeavor for banks. So maybe you could talk a little about how do you address that issue?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea is converting paper to digital. You can originate digital, like I showed you, you start. But when you already have paper, you can image it and then convert it to digital. And that's what we are planning. That's what the proposal is. Because once you have the routing number and the account number, and you've got an online connection, whether through email or through text messaging or really anything, I mean, it could be a Facebook message for an individual, then you can send them a link, or once you have their ACH information, all subsequent payments can be direct deposited using our system. Because we know the source and the target. The target is the bank, and the bank has the depositors, the recipient's information, and the source is on the check. And all we need to do is scan them once, and once we have the scanned image, they get forever digitized and converted online, no more paper. We send a link to the originator, and the originator uses the link to send all future payments. All of the verification and the conversion has already happened on the back end so that the sender doesn't need to do any enrollment. It's a one-time, one-click link.
You went fairly fast by your customers. What is the go-to-market strategy? Are you focused on businesses or more on the back end with banks and having them adopt the technology and push it out?
Tom will tell you. We are as Tom said, one of DXC is one of our channels. It is channel partnerships because we are going after the enterprise. The majority, 80% of the checks are originated by the enterprise, and that's the adoption strategy to partner with aggregators and core bank systems, Hogan, where we can get to the large banks and basically conquer massive volumes from there.
And what is the friction cost of the actual transaction?
The actual transaction cost is very low because it's, at the end of the day, it's just an ACH, it's just pennies. Our retail cost is $1, so our EBITDA is high, we can lower the cost and still make money. And the cost of a physical paper check, the list price is $1.50. But when you put in exception processing, check is in the mail, I lost my check, but a stop payment, positive pay, the actual cost goes to $5 to $10. So we do an order of magnitude cost efficiency for our partners, and using channels, we acquire large volumes through large banks. Anything
Excellent.
else?
Thank you, PJ.
Thank you.
And I would encourage everyone to go check out his product. I remember the first time I saw it, it was one of those auto magic. It was a little too good to be true. So definitely one of those amazing things that when you design a product well, sometimes it just works and you're like, it doesn't seem that amazing until you really understand the back end of it. So with that said, I'd like to welcome up our next presenter, Rajesh with Digital Align, who's going to talk to us about banking as a benefit platform. Big round of applause.